was pursuing a degree in city planning and was really focusing on the ideas or the impacts of flooding on public housing that I experienced living in Charleston, not that I experienced personally, but that I saw as a pattern across Charleston, and was able to get into that work through my studies with friends at Gadsden Creek. So I'm excited to still be a part of it today. For this panel, the purpose that we wanted to focus on today was kind of to have the residents, past and current residents, to discuss the challenges and shifts experienced by the Gadsden Green community over the past 100 years of development of the West Side, especially related to gentrification, displacement, and environmental impacts to residents' quality of life. So, if each of the residents can come up here at a time, I would like you to introduce yourself, your connection to Gadsden Green, how long you've lived there, or what period you've lived in the community, and why you're here today advocating for the community. So we'll start with Barbara Gathers. I guess it's up to y'all if you want to come up here or if you want to do it from there.
I think at the podium's good, Eamon. Yeah.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Oh, Mrs. Brown, I am the first cousin of Mary Moultrie, who led that 1969 hospital strike, so I'm glad you mentioned that. And she, as well as myself, we are proud products of the Gadsden Green community, better known as Back to Greenland, where I spent the first 21 years of my life living back green. I still, to this day, have fond memories of the Gadsden Green community. The Gadsden Green community was and still is a closely knit, predominantly Black community where its residents included then as well as now school teachers, construction workers, domestic workers, healthcare workers, laborers. Also, during my days, there was a lawyer and a minister, along with their families, who resided in the Gadsden Green community. It was a community where everyone knew one another and spoke to one another, if just to say hello. In the community that I live in today, which is a gentrified community, people don't speak. I'm probably the oldest one in that community, and the young ones just walk by, no hello. I'll say good morning if I'm sitting on my porch, but no hello, no good afternoon or anything. I'm not used to that. For the most part, the community then was a self-sufficient community, which included 3 family grocery stores, Teddy Foster, Ransom, and Miss Hart stores, with Teddy Foster's store still remaining. Miss Hart and Ransom's grocery stores were demolished as a result of the extension to Gadsden Green community, Gadsden Green public housing. As a child, and I'm reminiscing, but as a child I remember the street vendors who used to roam the streets selling their wares, marketing their goods. The flower lady who sold fresh flowers, and I wish I could sing, because she would sing as she was coming through the community. But the flower lady who sold fresh flowers, the meat and poultry vendors, the fruits and vegetable vendors, as well as the ice vendors who sold blocks of ice. And during those days, we didn't have refrigerators, we had ice boxes. Much later, the Rodenberg's supermarket, which was located on the corner of Cannon and President Streets, opened their doors, resulting in heavy competition to the street vendors. As a preschooler, I attended Miss Johnson's kindergarten, a one-room school house which was located around the corner from my house on Ashton Street, where I, as well as a number of children in the community and the surrounding area attended. Miss Johnson was a no-nonsense kindergarten teacher who no doubt prepared us for entry into what was called Red Elementary School. There was also a neighborhood church which was located on the corner of Allway and Norman Streets. The Gadsden Creek, which we simply called the Creek in those days, when I was growing up, was a place where residents as well as non-residents crabbed, fished, and even swam. Much later in life, I learned that the creek was also used by nearby churches for their Sunday morning baptisms. Of course, I remember the dump trucks which traveled down my street, Allway Street, to make its weekly, sometimes bi-weekly deposits in the city dump. The neighborhood children, particularly the boys, used the dump as a playground in search of some unknown treasure. I haven't done it for a while, but I used to pay a visit to my old neighborhood, park my car in front of the house where I once grew up, and sit and reflect on my childhood days. Our house, which was located at 13 Allway Street, still stands today, but under new ownership. It's vacant, but then it was a two-story, 7-room wood structure with the Charleston's traditional side porch. I was told that my grandfather purchased that house for $800 cash. Can you imagine? Today, that very same house is on the market for nearly, does anyone want to guess? 800,000. Going once, going twice. It's on the market for $788,000. $800,000. And referring to the future of the Gadsden Green community, Miss Susan Crawford, who is a professor at Howard's Law School, she sums it all up in her best-selling book, Charleston, and I encourage you to read it, Charleston, Race, Water, and the Coming Storm. And in referring to the future of the Gadsden Green community, she stated, and I quote, and not to alarm anyone, I quote, "Taking the property of homeowners as the Slum Clearance Act in order to build public housing," and I'm sure you know all about it, especially from the Friends of Gadsden Creek. Taking the house or the property of homeowners as the Slum Clearance Act in order to build public housing, and now slowly making the new prime property available to the highest bidder. Recently, I read an article on Charleston's history, which stated that the 1949 Housing Act, better known as the Slum Clearance Act, and the 1956 Interstate Highway Act, I'm sure we've heard of both of them, they both were an assault on the Black community and was one of the greatest, America's greatest and unrecognized 21st century tragedies. And I repeat, the 1949 Housing Act, better known as the Slum Clearance Act, and the 1956 Interstate Highway Act, both were an assault on the Black community and was one of America's greatest and unrecognized 21st century tragedies. And you know, the Interstate 1956 Interstate Highway Act, you know, back across town, it took advantage of all of the homeowners in that area, from President Street straight through Cumming Street. A number of African American tenants and homeowners of the Gadsden Green community were displaced as a result of the Slum Clearance Act, and a number of African American tenants and homeowners of what was called the Crosstown area was displaced as a result of the Interstate Highway Act. I applaud the Friends of Gadsden Creek for addressing these issues, the issues that should make a difference to all citizens of this community. And I thank you for listening to my short presentation.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gaddis. I just want to say, Friends of Gadsden Creek really appreciates you being a partner with us for this many years, and also wanted to mention that in the program, there is a copy of the article that Ms. Gaddis wrote talking about gentrification in Gadsden Green. But next, we'll have Donna Green, who is a current Gadsden Green resident and lived in the community for a very long time, and also an organizer with Friends of Gadsden Creek.
This is gonna be real short, sweet. I've been on Gadsden Green for 31 years, and the reason for us as an organization here, as we see, we just got, but I spread it out a million flyers, but they complaining tomorrow, and they complaining the next day, and every day. But ain't nobody wanna listen to what they need to come and complain to. So, this is what I was trying to explain to my organization. It's a fight, but you got to go grab them, stop beating them up, in order for them to understand English. If you don't come, ain't not gonna get done. I can't, me and whoever else that will get to me when they now can't fight for them if they ain't come to fight for themselves. But after all of that, that's another thing I need to say. Excuse me. But anyway, just like I said, I lived there for 31 years, and as far as living there, the policemen has been cleaning up a lot. Well, they not cleaning up a lot of. We sleep at night. One time you couldn't sleep at night. You had to duck. Because you don't know all the time will get you. That's one good thing. And as for the flooding, until I meet this organization, just like a couple of people said, we were in the blind for real. Because, we noticing all these boulders being crowded outside, like the man said, we in the pit. Where was it? Oh, Mr. Lawrence. He said, Gadsden Green is not really recognized that we're in the pit. So I'm like, okay. Regardless of being in the pit, we're still a part of the West Side. So it's not like you couldn't miss us, because we ain't high, we ain't that low down. You still gotta walk President Street, you still gotta walk Hagen, but we still there. So I wonder if they figured that we important. You think? So it's gonna be a little longer fight, but we just got to think of something to get these people to come forward and see that. Because they need to get in. But they can complain, oh, I had to pay my rent, and see, they don't help me do nothing, but you need to be here so you can tell these people not to tell your neighbor. Your neighbor ain't here either. That's the truth. Yeah. What else we need to talk about? But they're crying about the flag. How you know how the flag is going in and coming out of you in here? So I guess you got to go back and say, well, Or if you kick tomorrow, we got another. So I bet you got to be our house before tomorrow. I will go all here today, come see tomorrow. And I'm gonna hold up this big sign saying, where you been at yesterday? That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Donna, and we really appreciated working with over the past several years. You've been an essential part of Princess Gadsden Creek. Next, we're going to have Kevin Lockwood, who is a former resident of Gadsden Green and still a very active member of the community.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
I don't want to sound like harsh or anything, but I'm just going to speak truth about it. I'm going to speak on gentrification at first. That's the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by the wealthier people moving in, improving housing, and attracting new businesses, typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. We are not just products of history. We are also its authors. If we choose to stop repeating the narratives we inherit, we can start creating the ones we deserve. Jermaine Fowler. Thank you, Ms. Gathers. I didn't know a lot of history about the area, but I know wherever Black people is, we always get displaced. So thank you for that information. I learned a lot. I appreciate you. And God bless you. I want to speak about what Mr. Rowland said about Jim Crow. He was Thomas Dartmouth Dice, a white American stage performer in the early 1830s. He is best known for popularizing the derogatory practice of blackface with an act called Jump Jim Crow or Jumping Jim Crow. Under Jim Crow, African Americans were relegated to the status of second-class citizens, 3/5 of a human being, not a man, not a woman, and not American. But the N-word, you know what I'm saying. We were property, less than, not in any form or fashion, and equal to what an American was. Not even a human being, that these United States of America, in her own way, her own voice, her own song, her national anthem, and her Constitution, and her Declaration of Independence, we were never included. In fact, Negroes were never included elsewhere around the world as human or equal to or first class compared to the latter complected human being. The entire world has made a mockery of the Black man, the Black woman, the Black child. Black Americans have suffered some of the most horrendous acts of inhumanity in the history of the entire world. So much that we have become numb to the pain, the pillage, the lies, the suffering, the miseducation, the manipulation, the lynchings, the infiltration and separation of our people. I'm not here to give history lessons. I'm here to speak truth to power, to speak about the mistreatment of Black people and Black communities in the state of South Carolina. We have always been excluded out of the American package deal, the so-called American dream. But why? What have us Black Negroes, 3/5 of a human being, done to deserve this kind of exclusion of life itself that the entire world is against us? It's not fair, and it never has been. Oh, America, land of the brave, home of the slave. The community of Gadsden Green is a part of Charleston's history, the culture, the way of life for the very same people that dwell in Gadsden Green, housing authority in the holy city of the good old southern city and state of Charleston, South Carolina. This is real life people. We are real people. We are humans. Full-blooded Americans working. We are well-deserving citizens of these supposed to be United States of America. Our lives matter. Our kids' lives matter. If we let those millionaires and those investors follow the Gadsden Creek, our lives will most definitely and once again be at stake. We are tired. Revitalizing can happen only if inclusion was real. And forming a community of changes and coming up with plans to help include the less fortunate could be beneficial to all that could be affected by the non-communicative, conniving gentrification ideals that negatively affects the residents of the Gadsden Green community. If we all could come together to include everyone in plans that can help us all, that simple understanding of human decency would be greatly appreciated. Millionaires, investors, tourists, the media, upper class people, and our other counterparts, I wouldn't say their names, should grow enough sense of humanity to see how their lives and ways of doing things negatively affects those that will never amount up to financially to those of that caliber. We are still human beings and deserve equal treatment and inclusion in this thing called the American dream. Filling the creek would not only displace a whole community of already traumatized, suffering lower class people, history would only be repeating itself. We won't get slapped in our faces anymore. We aren't going to allow unknown people to infiltrate our living spaces and do what they feel is best for it. This earthly land belongs to all of us. Money should never be the motive to neglect the very same people who helped to build this country. Slaved without pay and were denied the freedom of even being a human being. Despite the way people may see or feel about the Gadsden Green residents, I'm here to stand upright, 10 toes down, boots on the ground, front line and center with all of the human, black, intelligent, beautiful, not going anywhere beings of the Gadsden Green community. Just like the Gadsden Creek, the projects in which a project is only an experiment is full of life, love, history, emotion, soul, hope, and faith. Us as Gadsden Green residents aren't gonna allow nobody to come in and push us out of our community. If you're not helping us, you're most definitely not gonna hurt us anymore. We aren't gonna let these millionaires take the little that we have left away from us. For so long, black people have been taken advantage of, and we have had enough. Come in and help us to help us. We aren't going to keep taking crumbs off the table and disproportionately be denied access of being able to live in and protect promised land that's being gentrified by strangers for profit. BTG is a real American neighborhood that deserves revitalization, maintenance, inclusion, and investments, and resources, just like the properties and the high-rises that's being built right in front of our eyes. Have a sense of caring, have a heart. Leave our community alone. We have suffered enough. Give us help and hope and stop taking away and lying to us. We deserve to be included in the changes of the peninsula of Charleston. If you disagree, so what? Love is love, people are people, and in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s voice, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Without justice, there will never be peace. Again, I'm Kevin Lockwood, and Gadsden Green is a part of my life and Charleston's history. We as residents of this resilient community deserve respect, to be included, to be maintenance, to be informed, since this is our ancestors' promised land, and to be here in the future. The floods, the disparities, the unfair treatment, and the investors who are planning to dispose of the residents that dwell in a waterfront, once upon a time majority African American community, should take a long look at what the outcome would be if the creek were to get full. Millionaires would profit, and us lower income based residents would suffer. You will not remove us. We ain't going nowhere. Back to Green matters. Gadsden Creek matters. The hell with you if we don't mean anything to you. We're not going to be a part of your investments. People stay woke, BTG for life, pay attention, be a good Samaritan, and leave our creek and our community alone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and we really appreciate you having join us in Quincy Gadsden Creek and really help build, getting the word out to Gadsden Creek residents and doing, Kevin's been really a big part of our monthly tenant meetings. So Also, I'd like to bring up to the stage Angela Washington, who has been a huge part of organizing these monthly tenant meetings with us, and also is organizer with the Charleston Area Justice Ministry. Thank you.
First of all, I just want to say I thank God for all who have came out this afternoon to represent the Creek and Gadsden Green. For all the Gadsden Green residents that are sitting out here, say it loud with BTG proud.
Yes.
Have only been living in the Gadsden Green community for 9 years, but I have to say to you, I don't care what the public says or the other West Side community. I live on the West Side. BTG is my home. It was blessed and ordained for it to be my home. I don't appreciate the West Edge community dumping on the creek, filling up the creek, taking what's left of what is beautiful in our neighborhood. And it was said earlier by Roland about someone who actually took the time out because she loved nature. And she planted a tree, and it was beautiful. And they cut it down just to be spiteful, claiming that it was going to be a problem with rodents. Well, I'm here to tell you on that promised land that we live on, we ain't got a rodent problem. What we have a problem with is neglect. What we have a problem with is people thinking that we aren't a neighborhood, that we're not a community, and that is a lie. We are a community. I want everyone that's here to recognize that the Gadsden Green community is real, it's live, it's vibrant. We are people that live back there. Though we live on public housing, we also pay rent. We pay for our utilities to keep ourselves warm in the winter and cool in the summer. And speaking of cool in the summer, because they neglect us and we don't have no trees, our electricity bills are astronomical. Some of those bills are results of not having the money to pay it and being subjected to losing your house. When all these things can be corrected by the city and with participation of other people recognizing that Gadsden Green is a community. So I'm here on behalf of my neighbors, where I live. I'm standing here to let you know that I love Gadsden Green.
Don't cry, Miss Angie. You got this. Don't cry. Don't do it.
And I don't want nobody telling me I got to leave my home. That's not what I came there for, to be displaced. Letting somebody who does not even from Charleston take over the vital neighborhood that belongs to us. And we want people to listen to us. I'm tired of being neglected and rejected. We got voices now. I got a lieutenant now. And when I can't say without tears, I got people who can. And they're gonna tell you the same thing I tell you. Gadsden Green belongs at the table with the rest of the people in the peninsula of Charleston. Any kind of city plans that need to be discussed, we should have a seat at the table. Like Kevin said, not picking up breadcrumbs, we should have a plate. And we are going to give you utensils at the plate because we're going to be there to speak on behalf of Gadsden Green. And I'm going to close with just saying, I thank you all for coming. You know, it's power in people. The residents that are here, go back in our neighborhood. Tell these people, come on. Tell them, come on. Stand for something or you're going to fall for anything. Thank you.
you all one question. So, Friends of Gadsden Creek as an organization, a huge part of the campaign has been dedicated to centering Gadsden Green residents in this fight. It's why we're here today, talking about more than just the creek, but critical housing justice issues as well that we're really going to get into the second part of the day. And we've had many different campaigns to talk to residents and make sure we are advocating for what residents want, not just what we think is best. And I would love to hear from all of you, like what you think Friends of Gadsden Creek and all of us here, can do to, like, what is the best way to reach your community, and it's like, in addition to today, and, being in the community, like, we have mutual aid events, we have events like this, we have the monthly tenant meetings. Like, what do you think is the most effective? So whoever would like to start.
Bring a sign which says.
Microphone.
Bring a sign. Best thing we can do is just have a big sign up there saying, attention all. Anything you need, just bring it to the table and we'll pay for it. Free. Food. Free.
Within the limitations.
Oh, I forgot. But if you do that, and everything on the table, and ain't nobody grabbing it, that's not free.
But I was gonna say, I would like to let it charge and I can record what we're doing. Is that okay? With that phone?
No, with your camera.
I can't.
Charge it now. Yeah, charge it now.
No worries. Just like in addition to, in our work in centering the Gadsden Green community, like if you're like, we would just love to hear from you, like what are the best ways to reach that community? I know you no longer like live directly in Gadsden Green, but
Let's go there, premises out.
right.
But yeah, but
What's the best way to get the
Like
people
to engage residents and really invite more people in the community into this fight.
I'm proud of what Friends of Gadsden Creek has done, and will continue to do. Don't give up, continue to reach out to not only the Gadsden Green community itself, but to the outer communities. There are others out there who are reading and hearing about what's going on with Gadsden Creek. So reach out to them, continue your work. I think you're doing a wonderful job. I once was active with the group, but I'm older and I'm doing some other things like writing and what have you. And I have a women's organization that I'm trying to chair. And so those are some other things that have kept me busy, so I have not been as active as I would like to be or should have been.
Do you want to respond to that question?
I'm trying to figure out what's going to resonate on my neighbors. You're absolutely right on it. It's about the free stuff, but I would say not only once you come out for the meal or the kids have their little fun fair or whatever. I want you to leave with the understanding that it's power of people. This is your neighborhood too. And at the moment, this is where you reside, and you should take pride of where you live. You should be aware of what's going on in your neighborhood. You should take that back home and speak upon it. We can make things move if we have our residents be passionate about it. Not just the creek, but our neighborhood too.
Kevin, you've also been a huge part of building up the tenant meetings, and that work is
no reparations, no repairing the people, no, that's a lot. I can't go, I go door to door, like knocking, asking people to come out. I'm like bribing them with things and like, that don't work. The community as a whole is suffering. There's no vegetation around here. Y'all spoke about hot spots and how it's the hottest spot in Charleston that is being neglected. And I'm young, so I go to all the young people in that neighborhood. I even reach out on the outskirts, passing out flyers and putting words on like, please come to these meetings, please help us out. What can we do? But really, if the people that's holding the power don't help out, even though there's power in numbers, guess what? Financially, we don't have it, so we can come and fill this whole room out. But as long as there's no financial support for economic support for that community, it's going to eventually get taken away, just like the rest of the communities. I'm off the east side, and that whole community is gentrified. I had the best days of my life around it, but what we did to inform people, we had meetings, late night meetings. Sometimes you get on the park and you give the people, like Donna said, what they want, but then how long would that last? So I mean, the mentality of the people, I feel like there's almost 500 years of, oh my God, I don't know, I can't even speak upon it. And then with the creek, when I was a little boy, we used to fish on the other side where the Ashley River Bridge is. We used to go down there, and the first time I saw a shrimp, I was like, because that was the first time. But then being in that kind of environment, you got to see the beauty of what Charleston really is. And to have that, investors coming in and building and filling and doing whatever they want to do, and nothing's being done about it, we can't get a whole community to believe that they have to see it. And with the buildings being built around them, they still don't notice it because the mentality of the people is just controllable. So, I mean, the question was, what can we do to get more people out? Really nothing. We have to speak facts, truth to power, man. We have to just take it further than what they're doing. Because if we had a bomb, we go blow the buildings out, then we're going to jail. So I mean, we just have to speak truth to power.
Well, thank you, Kevin, and I just want to say, you got something?
Yeah, I forgot about my favorite people. We got to get together and go around and find all the elderly people. Because, maybe they might want to come, but we're going to have to get some transportation when we got to go get them. I forgot, because the two old ladies that lived on Franklin, I forgot that they had to come with me, but I already got no bed. But then I told her that, next week, that we just go around, being a job out transportation, y'all can go pick them up.
Yeah, during lunch, we can make sure to do any runs or anything that we need.
No, I talking about, when we have events like this right here, you got the elderly people that would come, but, I can't walk them people out that house. Y'all got cars, I'm gonna, what I'm gonna do, I ain't saying I'm gonna do that right off right now, you know what I mean? But get all the addresses of older people, so we can go by there and then find out, if they really wanna come this month, come there, like, come what they really have people, come go get the people.
Right.
They start doing that too.
And also, you can contact radio stations, trying to get a commercial once you're plugging,
Commercial?
Yeah, sometimes if you want the word to spread, you have to,
Oh, well,
you have to go through social media. There's so many different ways, but I
Can't use social media.
I can't make you read a piece of paper. I can't make you come to a meeting.
Me and you use social media, so you think you can pay it. Our voice on. You think that can work?
Yeah, it does work.
Okay.
It works.
I believe that.
Okay, but I'd like to add that, we need to get out and recruit more young people. They are the foundation, they're the bricks to our foundation. And so I would suggest that to, as well as the Friends of Gadsden Creek, reach out and get in touch with the young folk, not only in the Charleston community, in the Gadsden Green community, but throughout the Charleston community.
Well, I mean, if you have events, now the children are coming before the parents. You know, and then the thing about it, the children go home and tell the parent, well, mama, they having a event, and they need you to take me. The child wouldn't come. I said, what your mama? Oh, she said she ain't feel like coming. Oh, well, you doing that? Cause I won't come. But you know, that's this generation gap we got right here, they just ain't got it. And it's not that, I can't say it's all parenting from their parents, because you don't know whether or not they stayed in the house long enough to get parents. But the way the kids be out all time of the night, the parents back to me, they don't come to these kind of meetings, but they need to go in the parenting meeting for their kids. Because this general gap here, I mean, I leaving, I 61, I'm leaving. So, you know, whoever was behind me, I feel sorry for them. I really do.
Well,
I really
yeah.
do.
So we need to start winding down. I just want to say again, we really appreciate, all the work that the residents have done to get us here today. We could not be here without you all. I do, want to see if there is any questions from the audience. It looks like we have one. Chief Dog is bringing the mic over.
Hello. My question is, when you spoke about events, are these events for us to inform other people, or events for us to make money, like in these events? Huh?
Sorry, what is your question?
Kevin, this is my question to you. Can we have events in the community to where we can sell something like cookies, have the kids make cookies, Rice Krispie treats, or like, little games where we can raise the money?
Right, that's where we have to strategize. We have to come together like-minded people, and then we have to plan things like that. But again, the Gadsden Green community is changing and being gentrified, so you would have to go through the office, try to get permission, and then have police out there and this and that. That's a lot.
And that's okay.
But again, I'm a person who likes to put boots on the ground, so my way, my rule, hey, let's go. Let's strategize. That's what we do. All right.
We have another question, from Mr. Huntington. Chief Dog Brandon.
I need to talk about do y'all have thought about, just doing a project that for the young people to get involved? And also, it's like, the state of two, y'all have like vegetation on the trees and stuff. Get Charleston County, get Charleston Housing Authority involved, just to plant flowers. If the plant flowers, kids in it, parents follow, one of them saying, parents follow the kids. If you give a little plaque, say they beautify a different area, wouldn't that be a way to get the parents out, to get people involved?
Well, at one time, the school had brought, little gardens for the kids. They bring the little gardens in front of the yard. That's when, the housing authority had like a council, whereas you used to come and take the kids out on trips and all of that. They don't got that anymore, so more or less the city. Like tomorrow, we having the stuff for the kids tomorrow. They do face paint and all that. Every time we have something, it's always for the kids mostly anyway. They do face paint and whatever.
Could you use the mic?
Well, I'm talking about if the kids get involved, not just face painting, but get them involved and do.
Well, we can it's not about doing it as well with the friend of Gadsden Creek. We organization whereas we share with the kids, and we can only do it amount of, let's say, like scheduling time. It can't be like, well, how could I say this? Just like you say, but have enough, like, well, when we need the trees there, they don't plant trees there. But you know, it's like, it's for the city to more or less do that, it seems like.
I wanted to kind of chime in, what's your name? Tracy, thank you, Tracy. Answer Mr. Hatch's question and also Tracy, that the potential for building out events that look like perhaps vendor, events or community fair, that's on the table. I think that's what Kevin was speaking to, all the panelists spoke to, Ms. Gathers. We are always finding creative ways to engage younger people. Ms. Actually, you're right, spot on. How do we get the kids to actually help unify and protect the neighborhood? Those things are still on the table. We have to find the best way forward. It's difficult to navigate around the housing authority, even securing this space. It takes a lot, right? A lot of resources that we're learning. But to your point, you all want to see something where you can sell your wares or showcase a skill. That also is a part of unifying the neighborhood and it also gives value. So we are learning, and this is like, for me, that's something that I'm definitely gonna try to incorporate in what we do moving forward. But you're spot on, when kids are involved and invested. Like, I remember when I came home to plant a tree, when I was young, you feel like you're part of the community, part of the nature. So we're gonna kind of continue to try to figure out more dynamic ways to show up in Gadsden Green. And not just our vision, y'all are gonna help us build that out. Yeah. Somebody else in your hand real quick? I know we have lunch stuff. I want to be mindful of the time and the panel's time. We have lunch. One more question?
I just want to add that, there is a scientist and her name is Mary, and she has been going around to the schools, both high school, middle school, and elementary. She's been speaking, and advocating for Gadsden Creek and teaching the children as well. So there is being knowledge taught to the kids about the creek. We're up here because we want to get our neighborhood children more involved.
And one last point, in terms of humidity. I once spoke with the individual who's over public housing, the director, and he informed me that they were going to plant trees and shrubbery throughout the Gadsden Green community. Have y'all heard about that? Okay. Well, that was supposed to be as a result of a heat study that was done in the Charleston area back in June or July last year. And he stated that that was one of the projects that they were going to be working on.
When did you speak to him? When did you speak to him?
I saw it on April. This was probably about May of last year.
Okay, yeah, as the residents and so many of the residents were a part of that study. And yeah, we get to see those. But that's a good point that we need to continue to push them on that and make them accountable to doing that. Round of applause for our panelists.